Welcome to Third Party News for Retro Robot Radio for the date of October 11th, 2014. We have some news this week from Dawgstar Customs. Their Moonraker figure, who is this highly articulated version of Micromaster Countdown, Hero of the Universe, looks like he might be going up for a Kickstarter type project to fund making the molds. This is the figure that originally started off as being solicited to third-party companies. They didn't seem interested because they weren't sure there was interest in third-party Micromasters. Then he ended up going to Shapeways as a possibility, but most of the interest waned when people didn't want a Shapeways printed figure. So this might be a good compromise if they can get enough interest in the Kickstarter to get the molds made. They can sell it and maybe show the third-party companies that Moonraker, who is Countdown, Hero of the Universe, is something people want to get. Dr. Wu has shown off a upgrade set for the just-released Masterpiece Wheeljack figure. This will replace the little light-up ear flaps with that he has that are just solid on the figure with clear translucent ones here. I'm wondering if someone's going to figure out a way to actually add LED lighting to them. I think that would be the neat way to go. But at least maybe some sort of light pipe would be cool. DX9 Toys has shown off a figure which they had told me was under development a while ago, but we finally see the first picture of it. This is the D03i Invisible figure. It shares the same basic mold as the Crasher design that they teased at TFCon Toronto this year. And as you can see here, it is basically the transformation from the Classics Mirage figure, but with the alt mode of the G1 Mirage figure. Also, it has chromed up accessories, looks like it has rubber wheels, and a very G1 look to it. So this might be a cool figure for those who are collecting Masterpiece figures. It's about the same size as the Masterpiece Lamborn Prowl. Here's a picture of the Crasher version, which is one I'm more interested in. Fans Toys did a teaser this week of some of the figures they have coming out, and one thing that people noticed that besides the front having the Iron Diebots, their versions of the Dinobots, the background seems to have a silhouette of Omega Supreme, which started speculation. Is Fans Toys teasing a large G1 Omega Supreme figure for the future? We can only wait and find out. This image showed up online recently from one of the designers who did work for Impossible Toys. He said that this was the preliminary sketch for a RC figure that he was working on for them, but it never came to completion. This would have been a better version of RC from their Valkyrie figure that they had come out with very early on. And it was an okay transformation, but it was just kind of lacking. It had trouble standing on its own and not very standardized. It was one of the first fully transforming figures to come out in third-party Transformers. And I was interested in showing it to you guys and thought, see what you thought of it. Obviously, there's a Generations RC coming out now where you can pick it up for about $15. But it's kind of nice to see what the other people were working on for designs years before this one. This picture's been showing up online recently, and I wanted to share that too because the Maketoys Ripper figure will be shipping soon, and we're all hoping that this means that there will be the other members of the Quantron set in their Shattered Glass colors. Is that a figure that you guys are collecting? Let me know on the YouTube page, and we'll see if anyone else is interested in them as much as I am. Mastermind Creations showed off this image of a helmet assembly for their upcoming Fila Saber figure. Fila Saber is the version of the Generation 1 Pretender Catilla. And if you may know, the original Catilla shell had a helmet on it. So this actually has a helmet as well for the Beast mode. And it seems that the helmet comes off and forms a claw weapon on the arm in robot mode. And here's a picture of the prototype of the actual figure. MasterShooter Collectibles has announced that they're releasing a TFCon Chicago 2014 exclusive, which is a MasterShooter for the Generations Nightbeat figure. This will look a lot like his muzzle partner that unfortunately Nightbeat did not ship with. So it would be nice to at least have him have a Nebulan companion again. Play With This 2 also released this teaser image of a sword that, here, let me get this a little closer to the screen. This sword and rifle is a teaser for an announcement that will be coming out at TFCon. And a lot of people have said that this looks an awful lot like the sword for the 1985 Grimlock figure and the rifle that came with the 1989 Pretender Grimlock figure. So we're hoping, dreaming, that this will be a Pretender Grimlock that will be announced at TFCon. Another announcement from Play With This 2 is their second set of headshots, designed by Ken Christensen, who's also been announced as one of their designers. This figure includes Blackjack, Moon Unit, and Zando. A lot of people have commented that Zando reminds them of the Zandozan from The Last Starfighter. And yeah, that's what it looks like to me. But it's cool that they're coming out with some of these alternate heads. Now again, these alternate heads will be made with a general ball joint connection at the bottom that fits a lot of 6-inch tall figures. I'm told Marvel Legends and the newer Masters of the Universe figures all share this kind of ball joint. So these heads, you'll basically be able to put them either on other Play With This 2 6-inch figures or many of the Marvel Legends and Masters of the Universe and maybe other figures. I'm not sure if they have figures in mind for these heads when they design them, but it's possible. We'll have to wait till we see maybe some fiction and see what kind of bodies these guys are mounted to when they're walking around. I wanted to take the chance to point out that Rick Alvarez has been doing the interview rounds on various Transformers podcasts lately. He, in fact, contacted me about doing my show, and we haven't been able to set up a time yet. But he has done 3 other podcast interviews in the last week, and I wanted to let everyone know where they were if they wanted to check them out. The Powwow Show podcast, October 1st, was his first interview, and he was interviewed on that show. Went into quite a bit about his history working for the Fun Publications and Hasbro, before going into a little bit about the upcoming figures and his new line. Then he was interviewed on the October 9th by Shattered Cast Uncut, where they talked to him quite a bit about the stuff coming out from his company. Also mentioned a little bit about how things were cut back at Hasbro. And his third interview was on the TFYLP podcast, which is on YouTube right now. And unfortunately, the audio cuts out quite a bit in that, but they did a good show at the interview, just didn't get a good quality copy of it. Hopefully, they'll get an audio version of that interview out later that you can hear a little better. I'll provide links to all 3 shows in the show notes on my YouTube channel. And hopefully, we'll have Rick doing an interview here sometime soon. I wanted to remind everyone that TFCon Chicago 2014 is coming up in a few weekends. It looks like there's going to be some real cool stuff revealed at the show. So before the show comes on, I wanted to give everyone a chance. Post in reply to this show or on our YouTube channel as to what toys you want to see revealed at TFCon. And we'll see if any of them end up coming true. I'll have my own predictions in next week's episode, and I'll read any of yours at the same time as well. And we have some feedback this episode from the YouTube page. Tricon40 says, speaking of pretenders, I wish third-party company would make a pretender shell and weapons for Generations United Thunderwing. Well, I don't know that you can really add to that because Thunderwing's already the pretender shell. I'd have to think it'd be better off with them starting off fresh with a complete figure, my opinion. Stormrider Sex says, pretenders? No way. That's too bad they couldn't incorporate robot modes into some of them somehow. I like the big cylinder accessory for Outback and Brawn, as mundane as it may appear. I wish third parties would include more accessories like that. Robot figures look more dynamic when the figures have accessories to interact with. Example accessories parts that could be made are computers, desert scenery, or city or Cybertronian landscapes. P.S. I agree with you that all third-party companies are releasing this year better and more interesting figures than Hasbro. Well, Stormrider X, if you're talking about the Play With This 2 figures as pretenders, they do have a little robot in them. It's just not stored inside the shell, it's stored on the shell as accessories. The Astroblast figures Tech Drone basically turns into a small robot or a jet or breaks apart into accessories that mount on the larger figure. Jewerst Man says, while I'm not a third-party completist, I have admittedly spent the same amount of money on overall third-party collection as my entire Hasbro Takara collection. I never thought it'd be that much into third-party stuff, but City Commander just resonated with my core desires in a Transformer toy, and I haven't looked back. While I'm glad we have the Bayverse to help boost overall brand popularity and introduce new generations to my childhood favorites, I feel like Hasbro and Takara toy lines have been steadily de-evolving because of it. Just got my Quantron, a thing of engineering beauty. If I had extra money, I would put 2 more sets of it on display in all 3 modes. Got the KFC latest Masterpiece cassette wave. Slightly underwhelming. Overkill cassette mode is lacking, and Slugfest Stego mode could have used some tweaking to rework the weapons into the mold they did with their other cassettes. Just feels poorly executed, especially after a long delay. I've got a room full of my collection. 3 walls are Hasbro Takara and 1 is third party. The center of the room has shelves with all my Bayverse crap. I really did try to give it a chance. It boggles my mind to no end why Hasbro Takara haven't picked up these third-party toy designers. Great update. Well, thank you there, Juice Man. This week's screen capture is of Bubo the Mechanical Owl from the 1981 film Clash of the Titans. This week's news brought to you from the pages of tformers.com and TFW 2005. News read by Matthew Ignash. Be sure to check out our YouTube page at Retro Robot Radio and leave a comment. And check out the third-party TF Crashers on Facebook.